Hello, everybody, and welcome.
With Aerosmith. Sibyllus, test 1, 2. Joining me in the studio, live from SNL, Jason Sudeikis, and lovely NormMacdonald, and with a Milwaukee Brewer hat that I haven't seen anybody wear since Harvey's Wallbangers, Cecil Cooper et al. In Milwaukee in the mid-'70s. This segment brought to you by a Google a Day, the popular new trivia game where the questions are so tough you're actually encouraged to find answers using Google. See if you can solve today's question. Visit googleaday.com. Jason, Norman, welcome to the show, my friend.
Good to be here.
The object of the game is to cheat by looking at the computer?
Well,
exactly.
It's a Google thing. You see, they've made the questions so intricate, there's no way for anybody to know them,
true.
And therefore they have to use
so
Google.
They have to go to the next level.
Now, you know, Zuckerberg says he's only eating his own meat that he kills now. Have you read that?
With his bare hands.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg?
The kid's a monster.
He tries to do one thing to alter his modern lifestyle every year. And this year he says he's only going to eat meat that he's actually killed. And I was wondering, what are you adhering to lately?
I'm a vegetarian, a strict vegetarian.
No, have you done that?
Well, I eat chicken.
What's not all that?
That's not vegetarian.
I'm not. I said I'm not strict. I eat chicken and
steaks.
Beef. Pork. I ate raw game. Did you ever eat? It's not dead yet.
No, you're over
and you
there.
eat it, and as you're eating it, their death throes are making you hungrier.
There's nothing.
That's better than a soybean.
Yeah, you're right.
Which sounds better, that or soybean?
Listen, some of the best meals I've had is that Mongolian thing over at Dahmer's on Wednesday night. Literally, we ate a Mongolian.
Did I tell you I ate a live fish in real life?
No.
Yeah, I was at a sushi restaurant, and the guy's like Japanese. Mm-hmm. And so I go, I eat just sashimi, like raw fish. Mm-hmm. I don't eat with rice or anything like that.
Yeah.
Am I trying to impress him? So he goes, you eat live fish? I go, yeah. Even though I don't. And he goes,
never think he's going to call you on
yeah, and I go, plus it sounds kind of cool. Mm-hmm. And he goes, I get you live fish. I go, thanks, man. Like I was an inside guy, and then he brought out a fish and hit it and knocked it out and put it on a stick. It was live. And that clears out a sushi bar. A lot of people, the girl I was in was barfing in a bathroom, and the only people interested was the guy, the Japanese sociopath guy, and all the Mexican help. They were all like looking like I'd eat it, and so I had to cut it. And then they leave the fish that's on the skeleton that looks like the one Sylvester found on a garbage thing. Mm-hmm. To move. It's moving and like a dead bobblehead, and you had to put water in its mouth to keep it alive so you could watch it die as you ate. It was a nice meal.
Jesus, I'm living such a pale life compared. I mean, you are out there on
remember
the cutting
when you
edge
said,
of
remember the joke you did about the time that you found yourself on your couch with Cheetos on your watching, and you realized you weren't living. Remember?
Norman, I've told thousands of jokes. What was that?
It's the Ricky Martin joke. No, I'm whispering you the punchline.
Well, what is the joke? I was eating Cheetos watching Ricky Martin sing La Vida
don't say
Loca.
that. No, you say, the other day I was sitting there on the couch and I was eating Cheetos watching America's Funniest Home Videos with Tom Bergeron. And I realized I might not be leading La Vida Loca. You remember that one?
I love.
Now I do. I built my whole career.
Are you a Dennis Miller cover comic now? This is like.
Well, Dennis was always kind to me. He gave me my first job in show business.
Hey, worst moment in my marriage ever is akin to that joke. I'm laying in bed one night with my wife. She's reading Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and I'm watching Dancing with the Stars. And we're in bed, and I lean over to her guy. I think Bruno Tomioli has a new scoring paddle tonight. She says, if you ever talk like that again, I'm leaving the marriage. Overnight, you won't even know I've left. I've got to sleep with you, you moron. How did you notice that they have a different scoring paddle tonight? So maybe I do watch.
Do you remember Leno? Jason's younger than us, so he probably thinks of Leno as terrible. But remember, but Leno was the best. You know,
he was
and probably still
you
is the
Drake
best.
and him?
Yeah. So he was probably the funniest. But he had a joke. One of his jokes in his act. You remember this joke? I'm sure you remember this joke. But he'd say, yeah, I can do Leno like everybody else, I guess. I go, I'll try. I've never done him. I've never tried.
It'll be here exciting.
What will that come out like? So he goes,
Such a goof.
he goes, oh, no, they got, he was on car, you know, when he'd go on Letterman, he'd be really funny. And he'd go, they got, I was reading that the #1 reading material in all of America is a TV guide. Is this considered reading material there, ladies and gentlemen? TV guide. You know? Is there a guy down smoking his pipe, reading, you know, in his armchair, and his wife's like, he's like, I'll be right up, honey. I'm just finishing. Who's on this week on Crosswits?
You remember that night I was at, we're talking to Jason Sudeikis, and Norm's taking us down memory lane. But Norm,
sorry about that.
Who needs
Jason.
Google?
Norm used to write for me at an old show I had for like 6 months at the Chicago Tribune. I got whacked. But Norm and Drake Sather, who was a genius. Drake, no longer with us, God rest his soul, but he was a genius. And a good cat, a sweet, sweet cat. But they used to tinfoil the windows. They'd sit in there. They would never send jokes out. I would stick my head in. There'd be 2 cigarette lights in there, like fireflies in the night. I'd go, you poison bastards have anything? They'd slide jokes out later. But I remember one night I'm with Drake at the Improv, and Jay was very avuncular then. He was like the paterfamilias for the comedic community. He would come in a corncob hat, or a corncob pipe and a straw hat, and he would lecture on comedy up in the attic. And I remember that I'm sitting there with Drake one night, Norm's writing mate, and Jay goes off in his 10 cardinal rules of comedy. You never save a joke for the next shot. If you have 14 jokes and they want 13,
yeah,
you do the best 13. You say,
who tell you there's an next shot?
Yeah, exactly. Get the check. Tell joke, get check. So anyway, he gets to the end of these 10 rules, and all these comedians are sitting at the hem of his cloak looking up at him like he's Aristotle, and Drake says, hey, thanks, Jay, but I have a father. Was he the best? Tell me a little Drake, man.
Drake and I had the same show. Like, he gave us a job, Dennis, because we were just doing stand-up.
Oh, come on. Can you imagine that? You're lucky, Jason. You're lucky.
What year is this?
So my manager,
92.
I had a manager. I can't say his name, but Bombastic Bushkin,
right?
And he said, I said, hey, I heard that guy Dennis Miller's doing a talk show. You know, maybe I could do some jokes for him. I've seen him talk on TV.
Right.
So maybe I've heard I would always have to tell him like what I'd heard about show business from watching the Dick Van Dyke Show years ago. I go, he'll probably need writers like Buddy Sorrell. So anyways, they look into it, and you have to send in jokes, a big packet of jokes. So like it's about the news, you know. So I never read the newspaper or anything. So I go to this Denny's and I start reading the newspaper trying to pick up jokes. Nothing. Every story is real serious. You know, and I'm deep into it and getting sleepy and stuff, you know. So anyways, I wrote like 10 jokes, and then 9 of them really sucked, you know, and there was one like, all right, one. So I didn't know what to do, so I said, I found my manager, I said, maybe I should just write in this one, you know, send one. Because if he looks at 10, you know, he's going to go, oh, 90%, he's horrible.
That one was pure, though, baby. That was uncut.
But anyway, so I sent him one, and then I got the joke, and then I think people thought I did it on purpose, but I didn't do it on purpose. It was just
Norman, you were a monster right out of the box. I saw Sudeikis. I saw Norman do a joke once. You remember the joke about the homeless guy's dog?
Oh yeah.
Could be the greatest joke ever written. I feel sorry for the homeless guy. I really feel sorry for his dog, though, because you know the dog's thinking, this is the longest walk. Does this thing have a payoff, pal? Because I could do this on my own. I remember the first moment I saw that
I could do this
joke.
on my own. Thanks for the leash.
Norman Macdonald and Jason Sudeikis was. Now, Jason has a film coming out. We're going to talk about it on the other side of the break.
Jason
Norman's
is a guy.
got the sports show.
Jason is a guy I didn't pick from Saturday Night Live to become a major motion.
Oh, he's a
star.
killer.
Why not?
Come on.
No, I'm
Good-looking
happy
kid.
for you. I picked Dennis.
Oh, I got you.
I thought he was going to be a big movie star. Oh no, it's not a bad thing. I didn't pick Sandler.
Yeah.
I didn't pick Sandler.
Well, you know what, Sandler? Early on, though, I remember thinking.
Because he was in Mixed Nuts. And I remember, I don't think he's going to be the #1 box office
No,
guy.
but you got to admit, early on, there was something that
In
made
a
me
room.
quizzical about him. Women dug him. You know, women.
But also
liked
in a
him
room,
lot.
he was hilarious.
Oh.
I remember
Like he was the funniest.
my
guy.
first year at SNL. You came back like around Christmas
Yeah, I
time,
came.
and you came walking into the office.
Well, don't tell.
No. And you're just like looking around. No, I'm not.
This isn't a story where you
That's not a
raped
good
someone.
thing for me to
No,
yell.
some of
And-
those-
no,
It's not a good thing for me to yell. Don't tell. At any point.
more insulting to me than
Yeah.
you think I would. But you came walking in, you're kind of like looking around, and it was Forte's office, and he was in there with Fred Armisen, and it was like their second season, my first year as a writer, and you're just kind of looking around, so who's it gonna be, huh? You're like, what are you talking about? He goes, who's gonna be the big star? Nobody here knows. Could be any, could be none. You just kind of like stirring it up. Then you walked out.
Norman, a true original, and Sudeikis, the young pup. We'll query him and Norman after the break. This is the Dennis Miller Show. I remember seeing these cats do this at SNL that night. That's how long ago I was. I was in on rap before rap became wiki wild west. You
You know,
remember
you know what you were
Streets?
good at Saturday Night Live and Spade was good at? You'd know who was good, instantly, and then you'd be their friends, and then you know what I mean? And I would, especially with music,
What are you, Yoda?
no, I only knew old guys. Like, I wouldn't know anybody that was in movies at the time, or because Saturday Night Live was always breaking people.
Mm-hmm.
So the host would be someone that was just in a movie, her first.
Yeah, I worked there, man. I know.
Yeah, you know. So, but you would probably know them because you're an actor and stuff.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, some of them, yeah.
Me, I wouldn't know them. So, Lauren would go. Anyone want to see? Anyone want to? And so then people would go, "What about Anna Faris?" And I go, "Oh yeah, I've heard her name." I would know. And I'd be like, "What about the Jim Jarmusch? He'd be good." And then I wouldn't know who they were talking about. And they'd be like Norm, and I'd go, Bob Newhart, Mary Tyler Moore, and you go, "What? They're dead."
You were in a barbershop. You always act like you're in a barbershop quartet. You're the most subversive cat I know. You know everything, Norm.
No, I just like old guys. I like where you at, when you got old guys in SNL that went from when you were a kid.
Right.
Are you not more impressed by them than guys that got famous?
Yeah, like when Shatner came, I was
Yeah,
impressed.
Yeah,
Because it was Kirk.
And if the guy's 20, you just hate him.
Yeah, at some point, some people would come in and you'd think, can this kid could not even get on this show outside of hosting the show.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, you were with you saw all the big guys because at Dennis's time it'd be gigantic stars. The Stones probably at your time or something like that.
yeah, I remember Clapton playing Layla at the end of the show. We'd gone off the air. He turns around, he borrows the electric guitar from the band. It's like 105,
Yeah.
that feeling where
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
just wired anyway and you've had a drink. I would have a pop.
I met
after the
Laura
show.
Linney.
Really? What did she have any insight into that scene where she makes love to in John Adams, where she makes love to Paul Giamatti?
This was before the Laura Linney. It was in her early days.
But there's always those moments at SNL where you just think, God, I'm in the center of the universe.
Oh, totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't believe. I don't know. You're from KC, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm from Pittsburgh. I used to watch the show and
Right.
think, what must that be like? And
Yeah.
it's just.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we had that with Paul McCartney this last year. I mean, even the you were talking about like older stars, like having Betty White and Jay-Z in the same show is like so great. It's
Good
like
for
it's,
her,
it's like a
man.
little bit of both, old and new.
One time I was hosting, and there was 3 guys.
I've never hosted. How many times have you hosted?
Just one time. It was a mistake.
Did it not go well?
It was all right.
Did you do update?
No.
You
It
didn't
was
even do
right, it was
update?
right after I got fired from Update. I thought it'd be funnier back then. But anyways, so there were three guys doing music, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know music. I just know old music. Like again, Lauren would go, "Who do you like?" And I go, "You like this guy."
Bobby Goldsboro?
Yeah, Bobby Goldsboro. Eddie Cantor, is he around? And Lauren go, "You've got to go," you know.
So who'd they have on? Very hip
So they
young
had
kids.
hip guys that everyone else knew except me. It was Snoop Dogg. He just changed his name, and he was angry because I kept getting it wrong. It used to be Snoop Doggy Dogg. It was Snoop Dogg and Eminem and Dr. Dre.
That's a pretty heavy lineup.
Yeah,
no?
but to me it was 2 black guys and a white guy. So I go to introduce them,
You're beautiful.
and they were all
Just
standing.
trying to get this into the barn. Don't go black white on me.
They were all standing under. They were all standing like in
I'm out
rap.
there with Francis Farmer.
They
They're
were
about to
stand-
go up and take me with you.
They were standing in rap positions, as you know, like against. And I'm about to introduce them, so they're standing in that rap position where it looks like they'll either start singing rap or pull a gun and kill you. So then I go, as a joke, I look at them because I remember this is kind of a Letterman-y thing to do, but I go, "Fellas, are you ready? Are you ready?" Which forces them to go shake their heads slightly. Even though they're in this crazy dangerous
I'll post up.
I'm posed up. So I thought that was funny. But then I learned later they were geniuses and I should have befriended them rather.
You're a freaking genius, Norman, and that Letterman impression is still one of the most logged. You ever seen his Letterman?
Yeah.
When you get out of the coat before you finish the last word, look, you can't even take a comment. Look at me. What are you doing? You're going all Bubble Boy on me. You noticing that how quickly he had to take his coat off to get back into the real world where he didn't feel phony is one of the most brilliant ticks I've seen on that show. Now tell me, what's your DVD? What do you got here, man? Let's do a little commerce real quick. You're the only guy I know I come on here I have to extract it out of. Everybody else wants to sell the soap. Don't you have something?
It's called Me Doing Stand-Up. It's your Comedy Central special, and every caller this hour will receive a copy of it for free. But you can buy it in stores
If it
now.
sells like $2 million, or if it sells nothing, I get the same amount of money.
So you're not pushing hard.
I don't make it.
No,
But I get a
you're
cut, so we need to sell it.
You play best insouciant.
No, I
And,
play. This is what happened. I didn't never want to do a stand-up special. I always said I'll never do one. You know.
Why?
Decided that?
Yeah. Because I never wanted to do one. I always thought it'd be fun just to do just to do stand-up.
Yeah, you get a
in
little Andy
clubs.
Kaufman in you.
So then they said, if you do this, you get to go on and do a
Sports show. So you did
right.
it. We'll
So I
talk
said,
sports show. Can you guys stay for one more? I want to talk to
man.
Sudeikis about horrible
Sudeikis knows
bosses.
sports. Sudeikis was in sports.
You're
basketball.
kidding me.
Big basketball
Danny
player.
Quisenberry?
Did you know he's a
Who's
big-
the
Sidearm?
only guy ever to graduate from the Ewing Kaufman School and play for the Royals? Frank White.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Frank White,
Golden
the only graduate of the Ewing Kaufman Baseball Academy to ever play for the Royals. Dennis
The
Miller.
Dennis Miller Show.
On Sudeikis
kid.
was earlier
Sweet
holding
kid.
forth than Justin Timberlake.
Great host.
And we were talking about sweet. He's sweet. No, he is. He's a
No,
sweet
I'm
kid.
not,
I saw him. I watched. I love. What's his name? That does Austin Powers.
Mike Myers.
Mike Myers.
Yeah.
His third movie that a lot of people didn't
Gold
like.
member.
No, it
Love
was
Guru. Love Guru.
Love Guru, and I liked it. And he was in it. He played a French Canadian accent. You
Yeah.
know, Timberlake. It was pretty funny.
Like that, like a young Chevalier. We're talking to Norm Macdonald, and he loves everybody. And,
love everybody.
We're also
You think I'm
talking to-
curmudgeonly? Like I've turned
No,
curmudgeonly?
no. At some point, I come in, you're like Burl Ives in the voiceover studio for the Rudolph cartoon. I'm not reading this again. Sudeikis is with us too. Tell us about the new flick here, Dake. What do we got?
Horrible bosses.
That's the one. Yeah, boy, look at that. That's the
Norm
the
doesn't want to
advertising's
plug
work.
his stuff. He
What
wants
are
to
you
plug your
charting
movie.
everybody's thing?
I love that.
You got a master board at home? Let's face facts. These kids went by us at the speed of light. I'm okay with it. We're
You're
tied up on the water hazard in the 3,000-meter steeplechase. They're all drying at home. Who else is in the flick?
It's myself, Jason Bateman, and Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and
Bateman's
then
beast.
we
I
got
was early on that Sunny in Philadelphia. I told everybody to watch it from the
All
early
right.
start.
And then who else?
Got nothing from it.
and then
I even phoned their agent. I said, "Hey, that's a good show. Nobody's watching it, but I like it, and I'm in TV."
Nah,
They
DeVito
never got
has
back
an
to me.
axe to
Never
grind
did?
with you. DeVito's
What?
DeVito's the EP on that show.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
got
yeah.
an axe
What
to
was-
grind with.
Why? Because of the fist fight I had with Christopher Lloyd back in the, at the Improv.
Exactly. You remember the incident.
All right.
Jason Bateman came up to me once. I went to a Parkinson's benefit for
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox at this mansion in L.A. This is the first thing Bateman ever says to me. How funny is this? I say hi to Michael. We do this pictures, and then I go over. I'm sitting in the corner because I'm sort of ill at ease. I see Bateman coming in. He walks all the way across this huge Gatsby-like lawn and waves to me. I've never met him, but I'm excited because I always dug Arrested Development. He comes up, he hugs me, and he looks me right there. The first thing he says, "What's it like to be at a party with both Teen Wolves?"
so funny.
And it went uphill from there. Hey, we've got
I
some
met that
phone
guy.
calls.
I met that guy, Michael J. Fox.
Yeah,
And
people know him.
it was
He's
before he was
a love star.
Yeah, it was before it was out that he had that thing.
He has Parkinson.
Yeah. But it was before that.
All right.
So I met him at Holly. What do you call that? What?
So I might ask you to go to the black and white thing in around 5 seconds.
No,
Stay
Disney World.
frosty.
No, it's quick. It's quick. Disney World. I meet him. I'm excited to meet him.
boy.
So I meet him like 10 years later, and here he is. Now he's got Parkinson's. And I go, "You remember me? I met you when I was young, and I met you at Disney World and everything." And he goes, "Yeah, I just got a thing. I'm not crazy."
Did he say that?
Yeah, I said, "I'm not crazy."
Oh, that's
But I didn't mean this. I didn't mean that. I just meant. Do you remember?
Listen, I've got a couple young tykes who want to kiss the ring. You ready to receive this? Or
Yeah.
You're not going to flip on these cats. Anybody who loves you, you have to torch. That's your M.O.
Torch. What am I, Jeffrey Ross?
Well, let's go. Let's go to Brooks in Alabama. Brooks, you're on with Jason Sudeikis and Obi-Wan Macdonald.
Obi-Wan McDonald and Mr. Jason, love you both, especially you too, Mr. Miller. It's my pleasure.
Thank you,
There was
brother.
a third one. Let's say
Number
that.
one, am I the only one that thinks the new writing on SNL is just not up to par? I've spoke to you about this before, Miller, and I don't get it, man. I've tried watching, and it's not on you, sir. Believe me, the guy that's on.
He just reads.
Yeah, just read it. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's in the
it's
trenches
not-
with these cats.
No, I mean,
Listen, Brooksy, that show goes up, it goes down. I'm telling you, sometimes for it to have an up year, it needs to have a year where people are pushing out and they're seeing who they can keep, who they can go.
But
All I can tell you is it's an evergreen. You just got to watch it, and there's ups, there's downs. All I know is I saw enough stuff this year that I loved
You
it.
were in a kind of a golden cast, but when I was in the cast, everybody hated everybody. Everybody hated, everyone hated the show. And then you'll see something like they do those specials, Saturday Night Live in the 90s and the 80s or whatever.
There's a lot of camaraderie on the special.
Yeah,
It
and then they
wasn't
show
like
the part you were on. They go, everybody, yeah, it was good. Then you go, no, it wasn't. Everyone hated us. But they just change it. So you just wait, and then they like you because someone else comes along even worse.
There you go. That's what you're waiting for. Very wise. I had Lauren on the other night. I talked to
Wait,
Lauren.
no, that
I
must
was
have
a
been
nervous
awesome.
wreck.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
weird, man.
It
I
makes
saw a
it makes you
special
nervous.
years ago about the writers for Sid Caesar. They're like Larry
Absolutely,
Gelbart.
yeah. That's a great special.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they're all like, they become kids right
Absolutely.
away. They're looking at Sid like he's, you know, the Godfather.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking it must stay true that Lorne's always Lorne you. I was interviewing the other night as a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
It's
Ah,
weird.
that's
I mean, I'm a
funny.
57-year-old man now. I'm talking to Lorne, and he takes a pause, and just for a millisecond, I think, oh, God, I'm blowing this.
right.
Cool.
Right.
It's pretty weird how when they get in your DNA in one place or your hard drive, it's tough to get them into another place.
We're always sort of talking about that, like when doing the movie awards, that even though he wasn't involved with it at all, but we had a few friends, a few of those awful writers that the fellow was talking about earlier, and just in the back of your head, you just sort of hear Lawrence laugh a little bit, and sort of like him, sort of, you know, just that feeling of the look that he gives you under the bleachers when your sketch is like either dying or living or regardless, and you just kind of always have it going on now, which is nice.
One time he told me, he's like, well, I am Smothers Brothers. I go, oh man, that show sucked because I remember when I was a kid. Anyway, it turns out he did something on it.
He wrote on it.
He wrote on it.
Yeah, he was one of the few guys who wasn't on the Starlight Vocal Band Summer Replacement Series. Like every great comedy mind I've ever met. Where's your first gig? Letterman.
Yeah.
In sketches on the Starlight Vocal Band Summer Replacement Show. Strange bedfellows, folks. 866-509-RANT. 866-509-7268.
I heard that song was about sex.
What's that?
Starlight Vocal Band song.
Skyrockets
Okay,
in play.
it's not. You're not going to win a Pulitzer for this filth.
Let's go to Kelly in Vermont. Kelly, you're on with Norman and Jason. How are you?
I'm good, Dennis, and I want to thank you for allowing me on this show with so much comedic genius.
Well, if I would say
I'm here too. I'm here too.
On its up moments at SNL, it is a great sense of salon. You got to admit,
One
there are
time-
nights there I was
one
in that
time-
room and everybody was exhausted. You know,
Yeah.
it's like 4 in the morning. And
What do you call this moment?
so
What do
much
you call
fun.
this? You would know. You know all these words. What would you call this? This is what the great Dana Carvey did once.
1 second, Kelly. We'll be right back. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Dana's the best. You know, we all know
Yeah,
that.
the best ever.
So he
in
was.
my book.
Me too. He killed wall to wall. So that was before me. But anyways, I was there and he came one time and they had Bob Costas do those interviews at 1:30.
Right.
And then afterwards he came up to us. You know, he's such a nice guy. But he said this funny thing, and I don't know what you call this in real life, but he goes, I was talking to Bob Costas. Guy called me a genius. I mean, Einstein's a genius. I'm telling this guy, okay, woohoo.
That's
So he's
called false modesty.
Yeah, you're complimenting yourself, but you're calling the other guy an idiot.
You know, Paul Appel, who's one of the great writers that, there now, like, written a ton of character stuff, has a great term for that called backdoor bragging.
Backdoor bragging.
And like the way it sort of goes at work is like, so I go into Lauren's office and he's like, you're incredible on the show, but we need you to do a little bit more. And it's like, wait, man, you didn't need to tell us the first
Yeah.
part.
We did backdoor bragging, but that was in the West Village back in the day.
Hey, come on.
Kelly, go ahead. What's up?
Yeah, I'm watching you live on the internet there, and I feel like I'm right in a room with you.
Wait, is there cameras on it?
Cameras everywhere.
That's good to tell before you go on a radio show.
Wait a second. Wait,
I-
1 second, Kelly. I got to jump in
Oh,
again.
it is. I
Spade
see it
goes
now.
and does a benefit for Lauren. This is
Yeah.
one of the great old-time Spade lines. And he said, Lauren sent a jet for me. And I Lauren, a lot of things, but he was a little penurious, at least with our
I
salary
don't know what that
checks.
word means.
And he
P-E-N-U-R?
He didn't write blank checks. So when I heard that Lauren sent a jet for Spade,
Penurious? You know what I mean?
penurious.
Penurious.
Okay, you know what I mean.
No, I
said,
don't. I didn't.
What sort of jet did he send? And Spade said, it was like a CAT scan in the air. Anyway, what's up, Kelly? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. This could address any of you guys in that room, including Christian, could address this. I was wondering, when did each of you feel like you were going to make a success in the entertainment field? Was it actually before you got on Saturday Night Live, or?
Well, thanks, Kelly. We'll cue it up with Norman first. Norman?
I just wanted to be a stand-up.
Yeah. You know, any moment you look back.
Actually, because Dennis, if I think about it, this just occurred to me right now. But I never wanted to do anything on TV except write, because I was a stand-up, and then I saw that Dennis did Saturday Night Live, and I think he was the first stand-up to do it.
Yeah, that's all I had in my. I didn't want.
So then I
to
thought
do
I was a
anything.
stand-up, I could do this, because before that it was all like, guys would do characters or some stupid thing. I mean, Chevy was the closest to just being himself, and everybody else would do some stupid. Like everybody remembers Jane, you ignorant slut, but they don't remember the rest of the boring thing where he played an old guy from the 50s or something like that with a teletype. So, I mean, you were the best guy doing stand, and then I said, I could do stand-up. Maybe I could do that. So that Dennis probably.
Jason, when did it click on for you that you were no longer a writer on there? What was the first thing you nailed on the air where you thought this could happen?
Well, I auditioned for the show and then got hired as a writer, so I never got to hand in a packet or anything. So I felt like an imposter for the first 2 seasons when I was writing.
That's the best way to do it. You don't have to go up in front of the stupid. You didn't have to audition, right?
Yeah, sure I did.
They told me
Let him finish his story. I'll tell you, it was brutal.
And then I just, I went in last 5 episodes of my second year and told Lauren, I was kind of like, I don't know how much longer I can do just the writing thing. I'd really love to perform.
Wow, good for you.
And then a couple weeks later, they put me into the cast, and and that was it. But I didn't really feel comfortable until coming back the next year with like
Killer,
Hader
Stone Killer. Yeah, you and Hader are the best things on the show. Me?
Oh, Hader.
I had to go up in front of
these guys are the two best.
Yeah, I had to go up in front of Lauren's friends. You know that moment.
No,
where
no.
It's almost like you're at the Playboy up on the penthouse with Hefner. Yeah. You're over in the studio in Times Square, and Lauren says, "You got 8 minutes. Do what you want."
8H, you go up. And you don't do stand-up?
No, we did it at a rehearsal space over in Times Square. Lauren had it. I got Paul Simon sitting there. It's that sort of vibe. And I can see, I had a good moment of clarity where I remember thinking, listen, no individual joke's going to make these people give you this show. This is about not freaking out and becoming a kid.
Yeah.
Just get bulletproof here, man. So I did some, I had some jokes, but it was more about when the joke didn't work. I didn't sweat 1 second.
I think that's 100%. Like you see, like Bill's audition or Kristen's audition or Andy's audition, like the 3 people from my generation, and it's all pure. My audition's horrible. I think it's 100% what I did in between because we did it at a stand-up place the first time, and then had to do it the screen test on a home base. And the first time was the first time I ever did stand-up. And I told this story just on Leno this week. But I had to follow Chris Rock. Chris came in with Jeffrey Ross to like try out material for the Video Music Awards, and then I had to follow him. And my whole thing was like, well, I'm not going to mention it, but this is the opportunity that if I don't get this, I will be able to go back home to Kansas, and over beers be like, yeah, I had to follow Rock. That's why I didn't get it. And that kind of made you a little bit like bulletproof. Like we were kind of like, oh well, hell, this is not supposed to be. Like I had to, follow one of the best ever. And
I'd always had the nagging voice in my head that you can't do all that crap, all that neurosis that anybody brings with them. It was the first time I ever heard some champion voice saying, listen, you asshole, are you going to be glory days your whole life? Or are you going to try this? Go do it. Don't freak out for 8 minutes and see what happens. So, it just comes down to that. I would tell any kid out there, the worst thing you can do is put fear in the air. It's like when you used to watch the dating game and the guy was giving a bad answer and you had to walk out of the room because it was making you so uncomfortable. Right. Say anything. Stay in the moment. If it's eating it, concede that it's eating it, and you got a better chance.
The guy tells me, like, what to do is start stand-up, and I go, don't wait, Because you know how you wait. Because when I first started doing stand-up, I waited 6 months, and I figured it all out, what I'd say, and I sucked.
Yeah.
So you may as well just go.
Yeah, jump in and find out.
Perfection paralysis. Like you're waiting for it to all be perfect. No. It's like you're just sitting there. No, I can't do it.
It's funny. I remember at Saturday Night Live, Lauren said, I said, can I be on the show? And they're like, you got to do 2 characters and 2, you got to write 2 sketches, 2 characters, and 2 impressions. So I said, well, I can't do any of those.
That probably got you on the show right there. It's that sort of attitude. We're with the great NormMacdonald. Jason Sudeikis. Take some more of your phone calls. They've been nice enough to stay here the entire hour.
Awesome.
Jason's got Horrible Bosses coming out in the theaters on July 9th.
So
Norm's got
Jason.
Some film called I Am Bob Crane's Mistress.
Wait, that's a Webbo series.
Webbo.
Back after this on the Dennis Miller Show. show. Give it a check out. Let's take a phone call real quick. We got Frank in Chicago. Frank, go ahead. You're on with Jason Sudeikis, who has Horrible Bosses coming to theaters July 9th, and Norman MacDonald.
And July 8th.
Oh, July 8th, too. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, baby.
Hey, guys. I love all three of you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I can't disagree more with the guy who called and said Jason's era is no good. I got to tell you a story, and I'll let you go, and you guys can talk about it. My daughter, who's 13, wants to be in show business. This kid is hilarious. She breaks me up every week. And the one thing that we love to do, she loves Jason. So she TiVos Saturday Night Live. She gets her little bowl of cereal. She climbs into big bed with her mother and I, and we watch it every week. And he breaks us up every week. Whether it's the guy dancing around in his jumpsuit in the background, or it's the newscaster with haters slapping people in the face with the microphone. I mean, I can't disagree more. We love it.
Yeah, he's like Farrell. He's like Phil. They just hit the ball everything they're given. Yeah, he's a killer. And Hader's a killer, too. Yeah. And Norman, I'm going to say goodbye to you now. You know I love you, but we're at the end of our hour.
Yeah, all right.
There you go.
What you expect.
How are the puppets? How's the Holocaust denier puppet? You still working him?
Listen. Out of context, it sounds bad. I bought him only knowing he was crusty.
Yeah.
You had no idea that he denied the very existence of
I thought he was a curmudgeonly guy.
I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
Norm does a puppet.
I bought a puppet. Are you familiar with Paul Winfield?
No.
Anyway, during the estate, I got a puppet.
I probably did he do like MacArthur? Or was
I thought he was cranky.
He's a Holocaust denier.
Yeah, I thought he was just cranky.
Dennis Miller Show. Hey, folks, welcome back to the Jabber Chamber. That was fun. Live from the SNL archives, Jason Sudeikis, NormMacdonald, brought to you by a Google Day, the popular new trivia game where the questions are so tough you're actually encouraged to find the answers using Google. See if you can solve today's question. Visit agoogleaday.com. And like I said, these things are tricky. You want a sample of today's? Name me a moment when Norm Macdonald is not one of the 5 funniest people on the planet. You better have some agile digits as you get on the keyboard to figure that out. And Sudeikis, a monster over there at SNL. He and Hader, the kids to watch. And a good kid to boot. Well, I feel all young and gussied up and remembering when I was vibrant.
The Dennis Miller Show on Westwood One.